What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Gonna do a video here that I don't think I was able to do last year. Now that we're kind of back into the weeds with this, and we do see a lot of content out there saying all the money, things like that. But I found a tokenization roadmap from a pretty big company that is not publicly on their website. Probably 4 or 5 months ago. It kind of ties into some newer information that just came out today as well. And you do get into the hundreds of trillions of dollars with kind of this document. So certainly excited to show you that. Just going to hop right in here. Obviously, the Bitcoin ETF looming, and paying attention to Gary Gensler, so the chair of the SEC's tweets over the past 2 days has certainly been interesting. Last night, he put out a tweet that had 26 million impressions. A thread, or yesterday morning, I should say, some things to keep in mind if you're considering investing in crypto assets, talking about risk, things like that. Not one to think that timing of certain tweets is by mistake whatsoever. And then again, this morning, if you're considering an investment involving crypto assets, be cautious. Crypto asset securities may be marketed as new opportunities, but there are serious risks involved. If you go down through this thing, it's pretty... I don't know, just kind of reading between the lines here with that comment, or the comment that he made yesterday, and then this comment this morning. Pretty interesting timing, especially with the potential looming of a Bitcoin ETF. They're giving investment advice down here as well. If you do, this is directly from pretty much the SEC. If you do choose to purchase digital currencies or tokens, recognize that they are new. There may be significant risk involved in putting your money into something that hasn't been around for very long. A good rule of thumb when investing in a new product is to only invest money that you are willing to lose completely, obviously, so that it's not financially devastating if the investment does not pan out. One way to spread risk is to diversify your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That way, if your investment loses money, the other investments can make up for it. You can't make this stuff up, guys. But this is, directly coming out of investor.gov, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. This is this morning. It is a total rhetoric shift from what we've seen before. Basically stating that the whole market is, blockchain and distributed ledger technology are good, crypto is bad. Now you kind of got this Bitcoin ETF looming, and you start seeing some very interesting verbiage coming out of the SEC that is not just totally saying scam, even going as far as saying, diversify, things like that. Again, you can't make this stuff up. This stuff just came out yesterday and this morning. Before we get into the tokenization document, that is when I say big document, I mean, let me see if I can pull it up here. I mean, this is what we're talking about, world money perspective. This is a really fascinating document. I do want to get into this. This is Cybersecurity and Information Systems Information Analysis Center. This is blockchain applications for federal government. Notably within this, they do mention Constellation. So if you guys aren't aware, Constellation's hypergraph network, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Transcom or Transportation Command. In 2021, Constellation Network awarded direct to Phase 2 SBIR award by the Air Force's AF Works office to develop a data security solution for the Air Force's Transportation Command and a civilian reserve partner. The intention of the project to develop a way to transfer confidential data securely, more efficiently from government agencies to commercial partners. The resulting system was built on what Constellation calls the Hypergraph Transfer Protocol. So if you guys aren't aware of the government ties, military ties with Constellation Network, and some of the proprietary aspects of what Constellation's doing behind the scenes, obviously there's a public network as well. Feel free to check this document out. I'll try to link at least this in the video. I want to get into the weeds with this. So this ties into all the tokenization aspects and kind of the multiple hundreds of trillions. You could even argue you get up into the quadrillions of dollars, pretty much all the global money, right? But I'll go through that document in a second here. This ties into this. So this just came out today. Digital Securities Central Security Depository, Montis, to support deposit tokens and wholesale central bank digital currency. So when you think about central bank digital currencies, you can, I know a lot of people hear that phrase. There's retail aspects, which would be basically us and there's wholesale, so institutions and financial organizations, things like that. So this is wholesale central bank digital currency. Now, this ties directly into ARX, which is this tokenization roadmap and all this other stuff I'm going to be going over. Montis is a subsidiary of digital asset exchange ARX. Montis is expanding their offering. 9 months ago, they partnered with Delta Capital to develop a distributed ledger-based central securities depository. That work is now complete, and the two companies are expanding their collaboration. Two of the new pieces of work are to enable delivery versus payment to settle digital securities transactions with deposit tokens and wholesale central bank digital currency. Additionally, they want to optimize settlement in the European Union and support European listed warrants. In the UK, tokenized deposits had initial trials as part of the regulated liability network. Those tests are moving into a second phase. And in Europe, testing will soon start for a wholesale central bank digital currency and other distributed ledger technology settlement solutions. Here's where it gets a little bit juicy, and we'll kind of go down the rabbit hole here. In the meantime, with the delivery of the central securities depository solution, Montis hopes for regulatory approval soon. In their first phase, they support Ethereum, Algorand, and Hedera distributed ledger technologies. Now, getting into Montis here a little bit deeper. So this is Montis. Again, we know that they're a subsidiary of ARX. Montis core central security. This is last year. This is in June of last year. So this one was just today that I just went over. This is in June of last year that I'm going to go over now. The Montis core central securities depository services for debt and equity products incorporate an innovative private blockchain. Now we know, obviously, that they support Hedera, they support Ethereum, and they support Algorand. ARX Exchange, so ARX again, and Swift connectivity. So Swift, obviously, payments messaging. I'm sure most of you guys know about Swift at this point in time. Access to central bank money settlement. That's obviously big. Interoperability and cross-chaining between external permissioned blockchains and integrate with market participants across multiple financial market ecosystems. So Montis, ARX, this all ties into this. ARX to launch this again last year, October. ARX to launch a regulated exchange for tokenized assets this year. Now we get into ARX, because ARX directly ties into a lot of stuff regarding Hedera that I'll dive into here. Montis, all that stuff I just went through, obviously a subsidiary of ARX. ARX launching a regulated exchange for tokenized assets. Look at some of the individuals behind ARX here. I'll just go to the advisors. Leading individuals across the fields of regulation, tech, banking, exchange solutions, financial services, and academia. David Buckley is the chairman of the Royal Bank of Canada. You've got a former chief strategy officer at London Stock Exchange Group. You've got managing director of prime finance at HSBC, Pepperdine, UCL. I mean, the advisory board kind of speaks for itself, especially when you start getting into the relationship here. So HBAR Foundation and ARX extending partnership. This is just like a month ago. HBAR price rally to continue, blah, blah, blah. This is through a crypto news site, so obviously they've got to add in some speculation. But essentially, the HBAR Foundation, ARX extending their partnership. I believe ARX allows for like staking of HBAR, things like that at this point. Tie all this stuff into announcements last year in Aberdeen and the relationship Aberdeen has. Aberdeen is also an investor into ARX, I should say. Our investors right there at the top, Aberdeen. Aberdeen tokenizing a money market fund on Hedera through ARX's tokenization engine. Now, I looked up this stuff a few months ago. Didn't really have a chance to get into the weeds here. ARX has 3 arms: a regulated exchange or multilateral trading facility, their tokenization engine for issuance, and a custody subsidiary based on technology firm Metaco. Metaco should ring a bell because Ripple acquired Metaco. This stuff, it's really crazy how all this stuff really kind of does start tying in together if you just pay attention a little bit. Now, like I said, Aberdeen launched their first blockchain-based investment by tokenizing part of their $15 billion Lux Money Market Fund. The token was issued on Hedera Hashgraph distributed ledger technology, where Aberdeen is on the governing council. It used the ARX tokenization engine to mint the token. So we have Central Securities Depository, Montis, which is a subsidiary of ARX, Wholesale CBDC. We have Swift connectivity. We have regulated exchange for tokenized assets through ARX. We have ARX investing in, or Aberdeen, who's a governing board member of Hedera, being kind of at the top of the gamut here, investing in ARX. We've got ARX offering Hedera or HBAR staking. We saw in the first announcement that Algorand, Hedera, and Ethereum all part of the distributed ledgers that are kind of incorporated there. We've got this 15 billion Lux money market fund tokenized on Hedera through ARX's tokenization engine. I should say 15 billion pounds is a drop in the bucket for what Aberdeen actually manages for assets under management. They manage 376 billion pounds. Now, this is where it gets interesting because I don't think I've shared this yet. I don't think this is publicly available on the ARX site. You can search and find this if you do targeted searches. This is ARX's tokenization roadmap, and this starts getting into some extreme high numbers. Maybe I'll just read through this briefly. I'll just give some keynotes here. This is ARX saying, if you believe as we do that this means all asset classes everywhere can benefit from tokenization and will move on chain in the medium term, the market opportunity is actually every tradable asset class in existence. While that may seem far-fetched, if you walk through those assets, many of them have already started to transition to digital, either actively or in a test environment. This is highlighted in the diagram below, along with the additional asset classes that can be added into the mix through tokenization. This is World Money Perspective. Digital assets, this is what they're talking about. They're telling you that, at the point in time that they wrote this, Bitcoin's market cap was $205 billion. Talking about private equity at 3.9 trillion, real estate funds at 6.9 trillion, gold at 11 trillion, physical currency at 35 trillion, stock markets at 90 trillion, all money 96 trillion, public debt 253 trillion, global real estate 281 trillion, the derivatives market 558 trillion, all other assets, art, racehorses, shipping, royalties, etc. I mean, add all that stuff together, you do get up into the quadrillion dollar market here. And this isn't me just making this stuff up. This is literally, ARX has a tokenization engine. They obviously are making major moves. They have Swift connectivity, all this other stuff going on behind the scenes here. I mean, these charts should speak volumes as far as where we're actually going in the future with this asset class. So they're stating, we think a lot of the pressure on the left-hand side of the diagram will come from the issuers and companies like ARX who are trying to democratize financial markets, whereas on the right-hand side, pressures will come from current market incumbents like London Stock Exchange or SIX, who are looking to improve the efficiency of their workflow. It's a pretty fascinating chart here, though. Security token offerings by asset type. This is ARX and market traction as far as when this came out. I think this came out last year. Equity raise. Let me try to zoom in. Universe of security token offerings. 10 billion, raised 600 million. So, yeah, pretty fascinating little graphics here through their tokenization engine roadmap. And I'm sure that there's many organizations dealing in tokenization. This is just one. I'm sure that you would see a lot of similarities across the board here. But, I mean, when you start hearing things like all the money, things like that, it's going to take us, obviously, a little while to get here. But you've got an organization, ARX, that is very much so in the weeds here, telling you that they believe in the medium term the majority of assets globally are going to move on chain. I should also say I'm pretty sure it's either Aberdeen or ARX that does have Financial Conduct Authority approval in the UK. I want to say it was in one of these documents as well. Yeah, but kind of tying these things together, it's pretty interesting. Aberdeen, a governing board member of Hedera. Aberdeen tokenizing a 15 billion Lux money market fund through ARX's tokenization engine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of run through the rest of the stuff here. Blockchain Basics Act landing in Nebraska, 13 states to introduce crypto legislation in 2024. I found this pretty interesting. The act seeks to guarantee rights of Nebraskans to mine cryptocurrency without restriction, exert the custody of their cryptocurrency assets, and transact with crypto. This last sentence I found a little bit funny. It also establishes the exemption of capital gain state taxes for cryptocurrency transactions under $200. I'm not saying people are going to make, if this passes, multiple under $200 crypto transactions, but who knows. Digital Euro Association putting this out as well today. Ripple is a gold sponsor for the Digital Euro Conference on February 29th. Accenture winning a tender from the Bank of Spain for the Digital Euro project. We know Accenture deals in a lot of different ecosystems. Notably, they are a RippleNet integrator, at least they were. I found this report out of Digital Asset Research talking about real-world asset tokenization again. What I found interesting within this is it talks about centralized finance, real-world asset industry players. It gives you a gigantic list. If you guys are interested in looking through these guys, it also gives you real-world asset classes and what these organizations are dealing in. It also gives you decentralized finance or DeFi real-world asset industry players. Some of this stuff I think is out of date. I noticed Alliance Block in here under, I think, the CeFi stuff, talking about private credit. We know already Alliance Block dealing in luxury goods and art and building out kind of the foundations there. I've been talking about Alliance Block for a few years at this point, but there's a lot of different blockchain organizations kind of involved in here. Genfinity, so this is obviously my company, put out. If you guys are interested, go check out genfinity.io. We have all of our podcasts. We put out a bunch of news and publications on a daily basis as well. Luxo, which I don't talk about a lot, but I know a lot of people are really interested in Luxo. I know our dev is really interested in Luxo as well. Universal Page launched on Luxo, a new chapter in NFT commerce. This is all about user experience. No gas fees. One of the biggest kind of pitfalls to onboarding in crypto and Web3 is obviously the user experience. There's still a huge gap from what the technology can do and how people are going to be using the technology. So having platforms that just make it, as easy as, your grandma going on and using it is going to be kind of integral to push this space forward. So shout out to Luxo. I saw Blockchain Backer put this tweet out today as well. As the Bitcoin, or maybe it was yesterday or this morning, as the Bitcoin market cap hits the point, or the 618 Fibonacci retrace, the Fear and Greed Index reaches extreme greed for the first time since November 2021. Obviously, when we're in levels of extreme greed, not financial advice, but might not be the best time to make moves, but you do what you want. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I haven't used this for a little while just because I try to use something like this, last year, whenever we were kind of in the depths of a bear market, or the year before, I should say. God, time is like flying. So 2022. But there's a lot of tools on this. You can go to Bitcoin Cycle, which is kind of newer. I just try to use as many things as possible in tandem here, but there's some pretty interesting charts on here if you guys are interested. Last but not least, Bitcoin blockchain hosts classic SNES games. We do kind of see some funny use cases coming out sometimes. I mean, these are essentially like those emulators you can use on Android phones. Apparently, you can now play a Super Nintendo game on Bitcoin's blockchain. I don't know why, but found it a little bit comical. As I'm kind of getting back into these videos again, I am trying to do kind of a self-reflection aspect at the end here. I think we went through quite a bit today. Obviously, tokenization is one of the major themes that we've seen, especially over the past 8 to 12 months. That's going to continue, I believe, throughout this cycle and even further into the future. I think it is one of the major, if not the major use case for, integration and utilization of crypto, blockchain, distributed ledger. But from the self-reflection aspect, I found a quote today that I found pretty interesting that I'll share with you guys, and then maybe just go through some of my thoughts on it. And it's, in every moment, you are the only one who gets to choose your attitude. Choose wisely. This is something that I've struggled with massively in the past. Basically attempting to control situations that are out of my control or that really have nothing to do with me. Whether that's, crypto markets, whether that's life, whether that's social media, whether that's whatever. I think that it's almost like whenever you work at a corporate job and you get pissed off at some other individual that you're working with, and you have this kind of nasty email sent out, or you have this nasty email typed up, and you hit the send, you hit the send button, or you don't hit the send button because you want to actually reflect on what you're about to say. For me, just kind of resetting a little bit is something that I'm trying to work on, and not just kind of react to situations that either A, make me uncomfortable, or B, make me pissed off, or whatever it may be. And really kind of thinking about how I react in certain situations like that, because at the end of the day, is it really worth my time to react? Am I kind of also, most of us digitally are dealing in like on Twitter or in Telegram or in Discord or whatever it is. It's very easy to misinterpret, especially like a global economy like, blockchain and crypto are, misinterpret what somebody's trying to say just through reading their text. Even especially on things like Twitter that has a character limit for how many words you can actually get through, or how many characters you can actually put in a tweet. It's really easy to misinterpret things. At the end of the day, just trying to really think before I act, understanding what I can control, which is obviously the way that I react, the way that I deal with situations, and understanding what I can't. I can't control the market. I can control, the amount of research that I do in the market to potentially make better decisions, but I can't control where the market goes. I can't control how other people react. I cannot control what other people think. It's kind of run the gamut with that thought process there, and I think it's good to kind of reflect on that stuff sometimes. And I've seen a lot of people that are like really good professionally that are just really bad at dealing with social situations, or really bad with dealing with emotions and things like that. I'm one of those people, but trying to get a little bit better at that. I think it is a skill that I can learn because it's not a skill that I have right now naturally. So just trying to focus on that stuff moving forward. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, tokenization isn't only coming, it is here. You've got ARX basically stating that in the medium term, they believe that the majority of assets move on chain, and those numbers start getting really, really, really high. Also connecting the dots with Metaco, and I don't know. It's really interesting. The government aspects with Constellation are always interesting as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys when I talk to you. Thanks. Bye.